Hello and welcome to Berlin's 96 localities, today from Wilmersdorf. This is the 23rd episode and it's actually the first one where I am in the district of Charlottenburg-Wilmersdorf. Before I give you an update on what you can expect, let's first take a look at the map.
Wilmersdorf has got a population of almost 100,000 on an area of a bit more than 7 square kilometers. It is split into two parts by both the Ringbahn and the Stadtautobahn A100. The part outside of the ring consists mostly of the Rheingauviertel, with Rüdesheimer Platz as a central square. This southern part has got another part of the Autobahn which cuts right through it, something we will come back to in a minute. The part inside of the ring consists of many different quarters and possesses plenty of streets and underground stops. There are three different underground lines, the U7, U9 and U3, as well as several bus lines.
So the tour will basically follow the Underground Line 3 and my first destination is right beneath me. It is the underground stop Hohenzollernplatz. It's pretty special. Some of these stops are because they are really old, more than 100 years ago, so expect something extraordinary. I will then proceed towards Fehrbelliner Platz because I have been told that they have the cheapest fries there of the whole city. And last but not least, we will go to a housing complex at Schlangenbader Straße, which is unique because it has been erected upon the Autobahn. Pretty crazy, huh? Alright, I would say let's lose no time and let's go.
The Underground Line U3 is one of the oldest ones of the city of Berlin. It is actually older than the city itself, at least the city as we know it. When constructions began in 1909, the city Deutsch-Wilmersdorf was independent. The story of the underground system of Berlin deserves an extra video, however. The station Hohenzollernplatz was opened in 1913 and it is considered as one of the most elaborate ones of the line. The part which is above the ground is quite unspectacular though, an impression which is emphasized by the relatively utilitarian and busy street Hohenzollerndamm. By entering the station at one of two entrances, the atmosphere changes quickly, however. A lot of details reveal the long history of the station. I have taken a few photos for you to give you an impression. A small entrance hall has a nicely rounded wooden stall, probably once in use to sell tickets or to accommodate staff. Inside of the station, the walls behind the tracks are decorated with large format black and white photo prints of the Castle Hohenzollern. The castle and the aristocratic family of the same name inspired the architects who designed the stations more than a century ago. Personally, I think it is amazing that the cornerstone from the 5th of October 1909 is still visible, neglecting that this one might not be the original one.
I think the station was quite impressive, quite neat. And I'm getting closer towards Fehrbelliner Platz, so the next station on the line, and it's totally different. I'm walking along Hohenzollerndamm and I can already see it, and I will show you some footage, and then hopefully I will find those amazingly cheap fries. Okay, let's find out.
Fehrbelliner Platz is a square with a lot of traffic and many big office buildings around, partly from the Nazi time. The square got its name from a small town in Brandenburg, where a famous battle took place back in the 17th century. The biggest institutions around are the Deutsche Rentenversicherung, the German Federal Pension Fund, and the Senatsverwaltung für Stadtentwicklung, Bauen und Wohnen. Senate Department for Urban Development, Building and Housing. Fehrbelliner Platz is also an underground hub with the U3 and U7 crossing. The architecture of the station is, at least above the ground, totally different from Hohenzollernplatz. It is from the 70s with dazzling colors and shapes. This constitutes also a postmodern contrast to the large and grey adjacent administration buildings of the Nazi time. Orientation is difficult as both underground lines cross in an awkward angle with the U3 banding. With 6 entrances, you can get easily lost here too. Thus, I had problems to find the fries stall.
Unfortunately, I couldn't find the fries. I think that the imbiss which sold them is bankrupt or at least closed. I looked for some 15 minutes at Fehrbelliner Platz and I could find Lebanese food, Indian food, Mediterranean food, but unfortunately not those cheap fries. I mean, there was a döner stall that had fries on offer, but they were, well, normal price, 2.80. So yeah. I moved on to Rüdesheimer Platz, which is a bit further to the southwest and outside of the S-Bahn ring. And I will try to find some food over here. But I already found a public toilet, a very traditional one. We call it Café Achteck, so Café Octagon, I think. And they have become super rare here in Berlin. They used to be everywhere. I will show you some footage of this nice square, and at the same time I will go and find something else than fries. I am in front of one of the entrances of the housing complex Schlangenbader Straße. And complex is really the correct word because the dimensions are just crazy. I hope that I can somehow manage to show you the dimensions in my footage. I'm really curious about how the Autobahn, so the motorway, is integrated into this complex, and yeah, let's check it out.
Coming from the east on Wiesbadener Straße, at first the complex does not look too special. It actually looks as if 2 apartment blocks are just connected by a bridge. Bridges spanning across the street are not very common, but you may find them occasionally in Berlin. However, the closer you get, the more intimidating the whole ensemble is. The design from the 1970s makes it look like a spaceship in my opinion. The first apartments of the housing complex Schlangenbader Straße, or briefly Schlange, which is snake in English, was completed in 1980. Both the idea of how to accommodate people affordably and the spirit of design of that time are clearly visible in the buildings. In total, the complex has got way more than 1,000 apartments. The unique feature is the Autobahn, which is not only beneath the complex, but rather inside of it. This Autobahn already existed, and in the 1970s, Berlin lacked of space for new projects due to the Berlin Wall and the limited area of land that West Berlin possessed. So politics decided to build this complex beneath, above and next to the Autobahn. I am afraid that the footage that I can show you only gives you a vague idea of the construction. The tunnel is sucking cars in and spitting them out after approximately 500 meters. In the meantime, the cars are above parking garages, beneath and right next to apartments to both sides. With a length of 500 meters and plenty of entrances to the apartments on several layers and levels, the whole complex is extremely confusing. The condition of the buildings is surprisingly good, but of course more than 40 years of existence are clearly visible on the building materials: glass, metal, and lots of concrete. As I produced this video, I got the information that the Autobahn tunnel is currently closed due to safety issues since April 2023. It is unclear whether it will ever be opened again. So maybe I was one of the last witnesses of the tunnel in use.
I have circumnavigated the whole complex of Schlangenbader Straße, and this is quite an achievement, I think. Yeah, I have all the respect in the world for the janitors and everybody who lives there, because it can be a real maze. So if you have to go there, please make sure in advance that you know where you have to go to. So for me, it's time to call it a day for today. And I hope you enjoyed this tour and hope to see you soon. Take care. Cheers.